I got to clap it up, folks, for Pirates GM Ben Cherrington and on everything that he has done and the amount of time he's been here trying to get the Pirates to where they need to be. I'm clapping it up for him, not the man in the higher power. I'm clapping it up for Cherrington. What a crazy MLB trade deadline, folks. The MLB trade deadline is officially come and gone, and we'll get into a lot of it on tomorrow's show. But holy smokes, I can't remember the last time there's been this amount of trades in the majors, and in regards of like how blockbuster-ish it's been. I mean, absolutely insane. But for the Pirates, you know, the amount of selling they've done, I can't remember the last time they did all this, and this, you know, the amount of selling they've done in recent memory. I can't remember, but it needed to be done. So as a Pirate fan myself, and for all you guys listening who might be Pirate fan or who are Pirate fans as well, this is definitely good news. And we're going to break down and get into who left, who's here, what this means for the team going forward. Steelers training camp's under our way, folks. Friday Night Lights was last night. Got a couple things Steel related to get into. We're officially less than a week away from the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game of between the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's exciting. Couple things to get into there. And Penguins made some roster moves that we're going to break down as well and get into. And we're going to as well express what this Penguins team needs to do before the season starts to get back to that playoff promise and really take advantage of these final years of the Malkin, Crosby, and Letang era, and what they need to do to get back to that Stanley Cup era, that Stanley Cup playoff run. But this is In Heintz Sight of episode 23 of your Saturday, and we're going to hit the intro, and we'll be right back. It's going to be a big show, folks, right here on In Heintz Sight. Man, you know, I'm excited to just kind of hop in here and talk about what the Pirates have done on this trade deadline. We all knew they were going to be sellers. Now, to what extent, we didn't know. But I just feel like with the amount that they have given up, you know, the amount of people they've moved, I can't really remember the last time they moved this many guys in one, you know, pretty much in 1 week. But anyway, guys, welcome to In Heintz Sight. This is episode 23 for your Saturday edition. Now, I know last week, I said I'm going to be doing Friday, Saturday. Well, I'm keeping it Saturday, Sunday this week, normal schedule, because I'm not leaving until Sunday night. So we got some time, folks. We got some time. So that's why you're seeing this on Saturday rather than yesterday and Friday. But hopefully you guys are having a good start to your weekend. Thank you for tuning in to the show here. Hopefully, you know, I can brighten your weekend up, maybe make your weekend a little bit better. But nonetheless, you know, hopefully your guys' weekends, you know, full of fun things, or even if you're kicking it back, whatnot, hopefully you're enjoying it. Glad I can be a part of it in some kind of way. But, yeah, we got some good amount of things to talk about in Pittsburgh sports, folks. Now, tomorrow's show is probably going to be a big one. There's a lot of things that have happened. Blockbuster trades all over the place in the major leagues. So there's going to be a lot of things to get into in tomorrow's show. But nonetheless, guys, I'm just going to start off right here with the Pirates because this is the topic. This is the hot topic right now going on. So now last week, we talked about the Adam Frazier move. We talked about I believe I mentioned the Clay Holmes trade. If I didn't mention the Clay Holmes trade last week, maybe it happened by the time I was done recording. I'm not sure. But anyway, the Clay Holmes trade, the Yankees traded for Clay Holmes. I have no idea why. But anyway, we got Hoy-Jun Park, and who else did the Pirates get? They got Hoy-Jun Park, who is a 25-year-old second baseman, shortstop from the Yankees. He's been having a really good AAA My guess is maybe just the Yankees haven't had enough room for him. From what I was seeing, a lot of the Yankee fans liked him. But he got sent down to AAA, and I believe the Pirates also got Diego Castillo from the Yankees, who's another infielder as well, and he was optioned down to AA, Altoona. So for Clay Holmes, especially with what Hoy Jun Park's been doing, that's an easy steal by Ben Cherrington. That's what I'm talking about. The moves that the Pirates have made so far, Frazier, Holmes, we're going to get into the next few. I mean, Ben Cherrington's done, I think Ben Cherrington has done a solid job in this trade deadline, and let alone, I think, a solid job since he's been here. The Pirates were bottom of the barrel farm system. He comes here in 2019, makes some moves, and makes a lot of moves, and now the Pirates, I believe, were ranked third by Fangraphs in farm system, I believe. By the start of next year, I wouldn't be surprised if they're ranked second or anything like that in the farm system. I really don't know, but speaking of Pirates, you can see this Pirate Cup. But anyway, as a Pirate fan myself, you know, there is a certain level of excitement for me, just in the sense that the Pirates have a lot of promise in their farm system, and that's what you need. You know, I've seen some idiots in the Pittsburgh media a little while back say it's all about the product on field. You know, why are fans so excited? Why are fans so excited? I mean, the Pirates have lost a lot of fans over the years simply because of what Bob Nutting has single-handedly done to the franchise. But I think the people that have been kind of, you know, still obviously repping their Pirate fandom and wanting to see a winning franchise, you have to have a good farm system. The Pirates aren't the Dodgers or the Red Sox where they can just pull money out of their ass and go sign whoever. They're one of the smallest markets in baseball. They need a freaking good damn farm system. So that's why, as a fan, I'm kind of excited because the Pirates haven't really had a promising farm system in a long time, and now they finally do. They have one of the best in baseball. By the start of next year, they'll still be in the top three for sure. Lots of promise here. But yeah, that was the Clay Holmes trade. Now, yesterday, Friday, they moved Richard Rodriguez to the Atlanta Braves. Now, Richard Rodriguez was somebody where he was kind of one of the last guys dealt. We weren't really sure if he was going to be moved or not, but they moved on the Braves. Now, they got Bryce Wilson from the Braves, who I believe back in 2019 was a top 10, was a top 10 prospect for them. And let me see here. So, I just want to go over here Bryce Wilson's numbers for you guys, for those that are unfamiliar, because I didn't know who he was. Now, this year, he split time between Atlanta and AAA. He's 2-3 with Atlanta with a 4.83 ERA, 21 Ks in 7 games started. He's 5-2 with a 4.23 ERA, 42 Ks in 10 games, 9 games started in AAA. Now, he pitched in last year's NLCS against the Dodgers, and he only allowed 1 run in 6 innings in Game 4. So that's pretty impressive. Now, Ben Cherrington said Wilson's supposed to be here today. He's going to be a part of the rotation, I'm guessing. And Mitch Keller was also recalled from AAA yesterday. So, going forward, we're looking at a rotation of Steven Brault because he's also on his way back. He just wrapped up his AAA rehab stint, so he's going to be back, so he'll be in the rotation. Brew Baker's in the rotation. Mitch Keller's back in the rotation. Bryce Wilson's going to be in the rotation. And Chad Kuhl. So that's going to wrap up year 5. Anderson's out. He's obviously moved. And, Will Crow's not going to be in the rotation either. So, with Mitch Keller coming back up. Now, the other guy that they got from the Braves was, who was it? I'm looking for his name here, folks. I'm trying to find his name, the other guy they got. Where is he? Hold on, folks. Hold on. I'm trying to find his name. I know, this is a freaking sleep fest right here. I can't find the guy's name. I want to tell you the guy's name. Okay, anyway, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and try to find him, but they got another pitcher from Atlanta. He isn't in their, he's not like a top prospect in their system, but I'm assuming he's probably going to go down in the minors. I can't find his name. I had it. I was looking at it earlier. Can't find it. Wait, I might have it up here, actually. I might have it up here, to be honest with you guys. Hold on. Okay, Ricky DeVito. That was the other guy. There you go, Ricky DeVito. I was freaking sitting here on my phone for a whole minute trying to find this guy's name. Ricky DeVito. That's the other name. I have no idea who he is, but, we'll see if he offers anything. I'm assuming he's probably going to be somewhere down in the minors. But anyway, that was the move for Richard Rodriguez. And it had to be done. Richard Rodriguez, with where this team's at, you don't need a closer. You don't need a closer with where this team's at. Atlanta's still fighting in the NL East, even with Ronald Acuna still injured for the year. Atlanta made a lot of moves, which, I'll be talking about tomorrow. Like I said, there's so many moves that have happened. I'm going to have to take notes and really just kind of dive into everything going on here. Crazy trade deadline, but nonetheless, moving Richard Rodriguez was definitely the right move for the Pirates. He's 31. He's done with arbitration pretty much. Move him to Atlanta. You get a guy like Bryce Wilson who has some potential. He started, he's started. He's also had some stints in AAA recently. So you get a guy like that who, and Max Kranick too. I'm guessing Max Kranick will probably be optioned down to AAA, I'm assuming. I forgot about him. Will Crow's obviously out of the rotation too. But Bryce Wilson, it's a move where he was, I believe in 2019, he was in the top 10 of the Braves farm system prospects from what I saw. I'm unfamiliar with both the guys, but nonetheless, it's, Richard Rodriguez, I think his trade value kind of went down over the last couple weeks, really. So, the Pirates, you're getting what you can for him. It had to happen. The Pirates were through there as a team. You don't need a closer. What do you need a closer for? You don't win games. You don't need a closer. It's been 7 days since Richard Rodriguez has pitched last for the Pirates. So, but that's the move for Rodriguez. Now, Tyler Anderson. This was actually kind of a crazy one going on. This happened, when was this? This was Wednesday or Thursday. But Tyler Anderson was reportedly being traded to the Philadelphia Phillies for Christian Hernandez and a catcher, Abraham Gutierrez, I believe that's his name. He was traded. Now there was something that stalled that trade. I believe it was something within the physicals of the players the Phillies were sending to the Pittsburgh. And that trade got upheld. So that trade didn't fall through. So the Pirates traded Tyler Anderson to the Mariners, who the Mariners are having a really good season. And they could use a guy who's a, bottom rotation guy like Anderson, who, he'll be much more suited for a contending team. But the Pirates got catcher Carter Binns from the Mariners. Let me go over his numbers here real quick with you guys. So Carter Binns is 22. He's been in Double-A and High-A this year. He's been hitting .247, 8 homers, 34 RBIs in 50 games combined. So they got Carter Binns from Seattle, and the Pirates have been pretty keen on some catchers, and we know that in their system, catching is very, very thin. We know they drafted Henry Davis with the first overall pick this year. We know that they went out and got Endy Rodriguez. I believe he's from the Dominican Republic. I believe he's 19. They got him as well, who's in Class A. But other than that, they're very thin at catcher in Double-A and Triple-A. They're very thin. And so now they got a guy like Carter Binns, who they can plug in there at High-A, Double-A, wherever they want to play him at. And, that can be a guy moving forward that might be able to produce for them. And they also got an 18-year-old, what was his name? 18-year-old, I know his last name. His last name's Tejada. Where is he at? Where is he? Is it Michael? It's not Michael Tejada. It's, So Tejada, they're not giving his first name. I don't know why. I've seen his first name. I can't remember it. But Tejada's an 18-year-old pitcher. He's only pitched for the Mariners Dominican Summer League this year. He's 18. I guess the Pirates saw a lot of potential in him as an 18-year-old. I don't know where they're going to put him at next year. Probably somewhere in Class A, I'm assuming. But anyway, I've always been at the point where, you can never have enough pitching. And the Pirates have gotten a good amount of pitching, with the Frazier trade. We know they got, we talked about on the podcast last week, they got Marcano, which was kind of the big guy. They got Jack Sawinski, and then they got believer Michael Milano, or Mitchell Milano, however you want to say his name. They got him, and then from as I'm saying right now, the Anderson trade, they just got the 18-year-old Tejada. Rodriguez trade, they got Bryce Wilson, who is going to be a starter here for at least the rest of the year, and is going to be here a little bit more longer term. And then they also got DeVito, who's a pitcher as well. You can never have enough pitching, folks. You know what I mean? You can never have enough pitching in baseball. So anyway, the Anderson trade, we knew he was definitely a likely candidate to get moved, but the Phillies fell through. So then the Pirates went with the Mariners. Now, the guy from the Phillies that they were originally going to get, Abraham Gutierrez, they actually did acquire yesterday for a minor league pitcher. So they did bring in another catcher, so you could add him to the list. So the Pirates are, trying to reload the catching position, because behind Stallings, they don't have anybody in AAA. They don't have anybody in AA catching. They obviously have catchers, but these guys don't have a future here with this organization. These catchers are ass. Andrew Susak, no, he has no future here. Arden Pabst, he has no future here. Jason DeLay, he has no future here. No. So they're kind of retooling their, catcher position, which they need to do. We'll see. Beats me, man. I can't sit here and tell you how these guys are going to, prosper. I don't know. A lot of these guys are younger guys. I don't know. But I like what Ben Cherrington has done ever since he's been here. And I think so far in this trade deadline, you know what I mean? For this year's trade deadline, I think he's done a pretty solid job. Also, they moved, who was the other guy they moved? Why am I forgetting the other guy they moved? Damn. We know they moved Frazier, they moved Holmes, they moved Rodriguez, they moved Anderson, they moved the AAA guy. Who was the other guy they moved? I'm trying to think. Austin Davis. They traded Austin Davis. Now, Austin Davis is ass. Austin Davis has been back and forth between AAA and the majors this year. I believe the Pirates just kind of took a chance on him in free agency. He's terrible. He's terrible. He's been terrible for the Pirates. But the Pirates did make a move today with the Red Sox, and they sent Austin Davis to the Red Sox for Michael Chavis, who might sound familiar to you guys. Michael Chavis made his Major League debut in 2019 for the Red Sox. He hit around 250, 18 homers, 50-some RBIs. 2020, he kind of had a downer year. It was a weird season, and this year he's been slumping a lot, so I'm assuming they're probably going to send him to AAA Indianapolis for a little bit. He's 25, so the Pirates are taking a chance on him. They feel like this might be a fresh start for him. So if Michael Chavis can... he was kind of a promising prospect for the Red Sox. And he did kind of have a nice showing in 2019, his rookie year. But then really the last 2 years, he's kind of been slumping and stuff like that. So it definitely doesn't hurt getting a guy, first trading Austin Davis, first of all, is obviously a win. But second of all, getting a guy like Michael Chavis for him, who does have promise and has potential, does have power, this might be just one of those times where player needs to change the scenery, man. Michael Chavis, I'm assuming he'll probably, be a part at least for the time being, a future part of this team, as long as he can, as long as he can kind of get back to where he was. Sometimes players just need a fresh start, man. In Boston, it's pretty crowded in Boston too. Sometimes players need a fresh start, but looking at really kind of the overall of the Pirates trade deadline moves. Obviously, you hate to see Adam Frazier go, because he was one of the few fun guys to watch, but it had to be done. They got Marcano, who's 21. He's in AAA now with the Pirates. And, the Pirates saw a lot of promise in him. And he's only 21 years old, folks. And that was really the main big seller for them. Now, Jack Sawinski has already hit 1 or 2 home runs being in AA. He has a lot of power. He has promise as well as an outfielder. Milano, he's kind of a more younger guy as well. Don't really know what to expect from him. But those were really the two guys that the Pirates were looking at out of that. Clay Holmes, obviously, was definitely a big steal for the Pirates. Getting a guy like Hoy-Jun Park, who's leading the AAA East, I believe, in batting average, on-base percentage, walks. I mean, he's having a really good year, and I just think the Yankees just have kind of had a loaded situation, a loaded roster, and he didn't really get much of an opportunity. And then they also got Diego Castillo out of that Holmes trade as well. And then, like I just talked about, the Anderson, the Rodriguez move, the move with Austin Davis, them still getting that catcher from the Phillies. The Pirates were really active, and we knew they would be. I didn't think they'd be this active. I was expecting Frazier, maybe an Anderson, maybe a Rodriguez, but trading 6 guys within pretty much, trading 4 guys in one day and then 2 guys the same week, really. I wasn't really expecting that necessarily from the Pirates, but I think Ben Cherrington, I think, has done a great job overall, for sure. I don't think anybody's disputing that, and had a great draft. Everybody's pretty much, they drafted it signed. So, he's done a phenomenal job, right? But now going forward, with what we're seeing with this team, like I said, the rotation, Brault's going to be back, he'll be in there. Keller just got called up yesterday, he'll be in there. Brew Baker's still going to be in there the rest of the year. Chad Kuhl's still going to be in there, and then Bryce Wilson. So, odd man out's Will Crow. I don't really view him much as a starter anyway. I don't really think he's that good. They got him from the Josh Bell trade earlier in the offseason. Like we said, Anderson got moved, so he's out. Max Kranick's probably going to get optioned back down to AAA. Probably will stay down there the rest of the year, I'm assuming, with these guys coming up. But going into next year, look at the rotation next year. We know the Pirates still aren't going to compete next year, but the thing is, the future is looking bright for them in regards of they just have a plethora of great prospects. And I think 2023 is probably that year they're looking at once these guys are kind of really, up. A lot of them are kind of up at this point. There's still some maybe that might be coming up in 2024. I think that's really kind of the year the Pirates are kind of really looking at is like, all right, this is the year we're moving, we're moving up, and those years following that, that's where I think that really kicks in, and that start of competing again and getting back in contention, I think, is going to kickstart that year. That's just how I'm seeing it. Look at the rotation next year, though. This is interesting. Now, Steven Brault has been out all year. I definitely expect him to be back with the team next year. Now, he could be a trade piece next year, depending how he plays, but I expect Steven Brault to be a part of the rotation next year. JT Brubaker, he had a very strong start to the season the first couple months. He's been terrible all of July. Throughout June, he's been bad. But I still think that they still like him. He still has upside. I still expect him to be there. Mitch Keller, I don't think they're ready to give up on him quite yet. They just recalled him from AAA. Hopefully Mitch Keller can finish off this year strong. Show up next year into spring training and, can kind of come to his own. That's all you can hope for. But I expect Mitch Keller to be there. Bryce Wilson, we know they acquired him as well, not just for this year. We know he's going to be as a longer-term look here. Now, Chad Kuhl, I think, is a very big question mark. I've never viewed Chad Kuhl as a starting pitcher. I've always thought Chad Kuhl would be a really good setup guy or even a long reliever. But I don't view him as an once every 5 day starter. I don't. Now, Chad Kuhl, he could get moved in winter meetings. He could get moved in the offseason possibly. But I think Miguel Yajure, who we've seen him a couple times this year, but he's been injured lately, he's definitely going to be a future part of this rotation, who they acquired in the Jameson Taillon trade. Roansy Contreras, who's in Double-A, is having a phenomenal Double-A year. He's definitely going to be a future part of the rotation. We could see him in there at the end of next year. Now, a lot of the Pirates' really good prospect pitchers are in, Class A, Low A, They'll be moving up to Double-A, next season and stuff like that. A lot of their good, young, coveted pitchers they have in their system. Now, the bullpen, I don't really know what moves they're going to do with the bullpen now. With, like we said, Kyle Crick's gone, Richard Rodriguez is traded, Clay Holmes is moved. They'll probably call up a guy or two to fill out that bullpen spot. I really don't know. But like I said, next year with the Pirates, they're not going to be competitive. I think maybe they might be a little bit better than what they were this year, maybe. I think we could definitely see O'Neal Cruz up on this team at the end of next season, as long as he performs well in AAA next year, because he'll be up there. We could maybe see Travis Swaggerty up here at the end of next year. He's been injured, so he'll start the year again probably in AAA. We could see him up here at the end on the team next year. We could see, like I said, we'll probably see Miguel Yajure. I'm sure we'll see Max Kranick again at some point this season. I definitely think, the Pirates like him, and Max Kranick definitely has the ability to be a part of a future part of this rotation. But he needs some more polishing. He needs some more time. He needs more consistency. But I don't know. Next year, first base is going to be Moran. Hayes is going to be third next year. Reynolds is going to be in the outfield. Stallings behind the plate, most likely. Other than that, everything's up for grabs. I think every position's up for grabs. What do you do with Gregory Polanco next year? If I'm the Pirates, maybe you DFA him. Do you DFA him this year? I don't see him coming back. I don't see them bringing him back. So I think Polanco's done with the Pirates after this year. Ben Gamel, Ben Gamel's actually kind of been a nice signing for the Pirates. They signed him just to kind of fill out that outfield. They were hurting in the outfield, and he's actually kind of been pretty productive. So Ben Gamel, maybe he might be a guy that they bring back as an extra outfielder next year. Maybe. O'Neal Cruz, like I said, I think he's probably expected to be going into right field, left, or the outfield, rather than shortstop. He's 6'7" as a shortstop. He's made a lot of errors, so I definitely see him being moved more into the outfield next season with AAA. And then once he comes up, I could easily see him being an outfielder, or if they ever adapt a DH, I could see him being that. I think shortstop's up for grabs. Cole Tucker hasn't lived up to being a first-round pick at all. He came up in 2019, didn't do anything last year. He hasn't done anything for any opportunity he's had here. I don't really know how much longer he's going to have here in the organization. But shortstop should easily be up for grabs because Kevin Newman sucks too, and he hasn't lived up to being a first-round pick either. Now with second base, obviously Adam Frazier's gone. Rodolfo Castro's been holding that down since Frazier left. And even a little bit before they traded Frazier. But you talk about power, man. Rodolfo Castro has 5 hits as a major leaguer, and all 5 are home runs. All 5 are home runs. I think Rodolfo Castro, he's only 22. He definitely has, I think he has a high ceiling. He has obviously a lot of power, what the Pirates need. Now the thing is, he's going to have to show consistency on a defensive. He's going to have to show some promise and consistency on defense at second or third, wherever he's at, and he's got to show that consistency with that bat. We know he has that power, but he needs to get on base. He needs to, He's got to be a consistent as well contact hitter. So there's promise there for Rodolfo Castro. That might be his job starting next year. John Nogowski, what do you do with him? I definitely think the Pirates should bring him back. Fan favorite, but the thing is, since he's been here, he's been one of their better hitters. He can be a backup to Moran next year. You could even use him a little bit in the outfield. So in this offseason, the Pirates there's going to be a lot of holes on this team in the offseason in regards of, filling out the roster, who you're throwing out there every day. That's the thing. Right field, center, second, short, all those are up for grabs. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. We could even see Nick Gonzalez up here by the end of next season. Depending on how he performs, he probably would have been in Double-A by now if he didn't get hurt, if he didn't miss a month in Class A. So who knows? But, there's a lot of... With the Pirates, yes, I know a lot of people, and myself included, a lot of times it's hard to get excited because we know who the owner is. We know that. He has single-handedly killed the fan base. But you got to give credit to Ben Cherrington with the moves he's made and reshaping the future and the minor, the minor league system for the Pirates, the farm system for them, from being in the gutter and bringing them in the top 5, let alone the top 3, is absolutely remarkable over the last 2-3 years since he's been here. So I'm excited in the sense of all the prospects they have, and guys that we'll be seeing coming up at some point next year and the following year as well. There's a lot of talent and a lot of high-end talent in Class A and in Double A specifically for the Pirates, so I'm very excited about that. We'll see. We'll see what it's like going forward. Now, tomorrow, like I said, there's been a lot of moves in the MLB trade deadline. Tomorrow, that's going to be on tomorrow's show. That's going to be a big part of tomorrow's show, so stay in tune for that. But transition out of the Pirates, man, after a crazy MLB trade deadline, Steeler training camp is obviously still going. Friday Night Lights happened. Big Ben wasn't suited for Friday Night Lights. He never is. There are some other guys that weren't, that weren't suited up. Cam Hayward wasn't. Stephon Tuitt. Kevin Dotson. Kevin Dotson's been dealing with something. He hasn't been suited up. TJ Watt wasn't. Who else wasn't? I believe Eric Ebron wasn't. So, I mean, it's good. The Steelers are being cautious with certain guys. You know what I mean? Or guys, if they have something lingering going on, you know what I mean? There's no reason to, to push them, you know what I mean? Or get them out there, let them, do what they need to do to recoup. But one thing, a couple of things coming out of training camp that we've been seeing. I mean, first of all, it's great to see, them on field, them in pads. There's fans there at Heintz Field. I still have no idea why they couldn't go to Latrobe. But anyway, there's still fans in attendance for training camp at Heintz Field. So it's great to see, and it's great to see the videos out in regards to Ben, throw-in, Najee, you know what I mean? Some guys on defense. But someone that's been having a good camp, which I'm not surprised, James Pierre. James Pierre, we know, has been in discussion in regards of an increase in his role this year. We know the Steelers got rid of Steven Nelson. We know that they lost Mike Hilton to the Bengals in free agency this year, which sucks. But they still have Joe Hayden, who's still a very high-quality cornerback, especially at 32. And I love Joe Hayden a lot. I'm excited to see what he does this season as well. Cameron Sutton, who they brought back on a 3-year deal, he's as well going to be starting aside from Joe Hayden. Now, James Pierre can be a guy as well. I feel that it can play on the inside, can play on the outside. But he's been doing a good job covering guys like a Claypool, Juju. You know what I mean? It's just been a lot of good reports coming out of camp for him. So I think James Pierre is probably going to be that third cornerback. Whether they want to move Cam Sutton inside a little bit, Pierre on the outside, I don't know what they're going to go about that with. But there's been a lot of talk from Keith Butler and guys like that as well. Terrell Austin, the secondary coach, that James Pierre can definitely be a diamond in the rough, and that he has a very high ceiling. So I'm excited to see what Pierre does because, the Steelers could really use a guy like that. And it's very reminiscent to Mike Hilton as well, because Mike Hilton was an undrafted guy, had a great showing in 2017 camp and preseason, made the team, and has become pretty much the NFL's best nickel cornerback ever since. So James Pierre's been getting a lot of talk. And who else was there? There was someone else I wanted to mention. I'm trying to think who that was. There's a couple receivers. Tyler Simmons, Rico Bussey, I believe's his name. He's been having a pretty good camp so far, pretty good showing. Now these could be one of the guys where we see happen sometimes in Steelers seasons where we know they have a particular 5 guys they're going with, but there's always that 6th guy that we see fans and we see that kind of have a really nice outing in preseason and training camp, OTAs, things like that we want to see them keep. Now one of those guys could be that. Now we know the returner's going to be Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud might have a bigger role in the offense this year, working a little bit in the slot more with Juju on the outside. But Rico Bussey's been a name that's been going around, and I'm very unfamiliar with him. I don't know who he is. But that's the thing. If you have one of these guys that have a really nice showing, you know what I mean? And you want to keep a 6 wide receiver for depth reasons, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe there's a certain play you want to plug one of these guys in there, that really kind of suits them and fits them and can get them down the field and make a play. By all means, then do it. I mean, we've seen that with a Deion Kane. We've seen that with a Kobe Hamilton. We've seen that with, Who else was there? I mean, we've seen that with, I mean, I wasn't a fan of him, but when Switzer was on the team, the Steelers liked some of the things that he did. He didn't really do much, but I don't know why they liked him. But Switzer, I mean, there's been a variety of situations where, the Steelers have kept that 6 wide receiver. Even Ray McLeod last year, you know what I mean, when they decided to keep him, and he had a really nice showing for them and showed what he could do. So he could be one of those guys that's like that. He really could. So I guess keep an eye on him. I expect him to get a lot of snaps in the preseason game. Dwayne Haskins he's had a good report so far in regards of his training camp, which is great. There's been some video of him. He's made some nice passes, some nice rollouts, things like that. Mason Rudolph, he's had a couple negative reports, but I'm not putting that much stock into that. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's done some good things too that coaches were pleased to see. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going to go on there. I think Rudolph's probably the favorite to be the backup again, but I would really like to see Haskins, have a really nice showing and really kind of push Mason to the edge there on being that backup guy. And I'd love to see Haskins even revitalize himself here. That'd be great. Who knows? Now, there was an outcry on Twitter, and not even just among Steeler fans or Steeler players, but even people in general who aren't even fans. I mean, just calling them out. EA, back at it again. I don't know what it is with Madden. I really don't. I know I covered Madden a little while ago and things that they, that they showed, that they put out there, kind of going into the game a little bit. Listen, I want there to be a good NFL game. I do. A simulated game, not an arcade or a backyard game. Yes, those are fun, but I want there to be a good, realistic, simulated NFL game. And Madden used to be that. I enjoyed Madden 08. I enjoyed Madden 10, Madden 11. Madden 12 had some cool things. I enjoyed Madden 15. But over the last 6-7 years, Madden's been really the same game, a couple twists, a couple turns here and there. We all know that. Madden's been an absolute disaster. And I've been a big hater of Madden over the last 6-7 years, as a lot of people in the Madden community have. Now, there's things they've shown that I think are a step in the right direction for the franchise for this year's game. But there are a lot of people calling out, again, I don't know what it is with Madden's ratings every year. I really don't know. Now, you're not going to please everybody, but there's always several guys where it's like they lowball, and it makes no sense at all in regards to their rate. I really don't know. So all you Madden rating, quote-unquote, rating adjusters out there, how about you do your job right, and how about you actually open your eyes when you're watching a football game, and you can actually make the ratings suit the actual guy that you're lowballing here, because most of your ratings are ass. I love to know what it takes to be a Madden's rating adjuster. I would love to know. Minkah Fitzpatrick was rated an 89. That is 10th among safeties in Madden. Now, this is a video game. This is Madden, yes. But that is absolutely ridiculous. You're telling me there's 9 other safeties better than Minkah Fitzpatrick? Whether you think he's the best safety or not, I think everybody who watches football and knows who Minkah Fitzpatrick is can single-handedly agree he is at least a top 3 safety in the league. So why is he 89? Why is he 10th? Why is he tied for 10th? 8, 9, 10. Why is he tied with those guys? Minkah should be a 95. You know who 95 is? Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu's good. Tyrann Mathieu's been an anchor on that Chiefs defense, but he ain't better than Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'll tell you that right now. Minkah Fitzpatrick should be the best safety in Madden, if not top 3. Freak out of here with that. Madden, they continue to fail and fail and fail. Now, I've said that there were things that they've done that's been optimistic to me and has been intriguing to me that they've put out in this year's game. They've seen all the complaints from the community, from all the Madden people, and it's about time they switch things up and they actually put effort in their game, because we know at the end of the day it's all about money. So they're like, oh yeah, we're going to make our money anyway, so we're not really going to do much with the game. And that's what they've been. They've been sleepwalking it, they've been lazy, not creative, things like that. It's about freaking time that you you change the game up, you set it apart from the previous game. That's what you should be doing every year. Your goal every year should be to make the game better and set it apart from the previous year. That should be your goal. But they don't care. Long as they know, oh yeah, looking at the numbers here, we're gonna make our money. Yeah, so we don't need to do anything about this game. Just change the cover of it from Madden 19, put Madden 20's cover on it. There you go. People will buy it. You're a freaking fool if you buy Madden every year, man. But I'm gonna tell you this. I've been considering buying Madden this year because I do like what they've shown. I do like some of the changes they've made with franchise and with the game in general. So I think that it is a right step in the direction. So I have been kind of considering it. I still want to see more. But in regards to the ratings, just absolutely terrible. And there's other ratings out there that have been asked. Josh Allen's an 88 when he should obviously be higher than that. So I don't know what else to tell you at that point. But yeah, I mean, James Pierre, he even had a, just kind of sticking with James Pierre, he pretty much had what do you have? For Friday Night Lights, he had like an 100-yard interception return. He's just been having a really good showing in camp, and I definitely think that he's primed to have, one of those guys in the league who, and there's a variety of them. There's a variety of them that are going to have that this year. But there's a lot of guys in the league that people don't really know about, that haven't made a name for themselves, whether they're an undrafted guy or maybe they've been in the league for a year. You know what I mean? They're going to get that opportunity to take that leap, and James Pierre is going to be one of those guys. James Pierre is going to be one of those guys that I think that more people are going to know his name by the end of the season. I'm not sitting here saying this guy's going to make the Pro Bowl this year or anything like that, but I think that he's going to solidify himself as being a top 3 corner on this football team throughout the year. Now, we'll be seeing the likes of other guys as well, as we kind of get on throughout preseason camp, things like that. As we went over on last week's show, just different camp battles that we could see. But yeah, Haskins and Rudolph is going to be an interesting dynamic in the preseason game. Not sure who's going to start. If I had to guess, it's going to be Rudolph. But that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And like I said, I love it nothing more if Haskins worked out here. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, Steelers camp, it seems like a lot of people, everyone's having a good time down there. For all the fans that have gone, I believe I believe the tickets are free, if I'm not mistaken. I think they are. I'm not sure how much they're limiting right now. But from what I saw for Friday Night Lights, they had like 13,000 or something like that tickets. Not saying everybody was showing up, but somewhere around there. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of things coming out of the Hall of Fame game to look at. Obviously, I don't expect, especially with this being the first out of 4 for the Steelers preseason games, the NFL cut down to 3. I think it should have been 2. But, we know that not really any of the main guys are going to dress for the Hall of Fame game. But nonetheless, football's going to be back, which is very exciting. There's going to be a lot of stories coming out of the Hall of Fame game. And that's the thing, like I said, I'm thinking of as we get into football season, I'm thinking of a schedule because I'm going to have to reschedule my shows. I'm not going to be able to do shows Saturday and Sundays. I'm obviously going to have content throughout the week going over, the weekly games, stuff with the the Steeler games as well, things that are going on throughout the week in all sports, in the NFL, college, things like that. So once I get a better idea on what days would work in regards of, shifting around the podcast days and obviously the IHS exclusives. If you saw that under my playlist, I did one of those last week with the Melvin Ingram signing. That's kind of what I'm calling it. That's not really, those are kind of more the ones that are kind of more short episodes. That's what that's going to be, more short episodes, maybe 10, 20-minute episodes on whatever it is we're talking about. Those are going to be IHS exclusive, just FYI. But yeah, I'm going to have to shift around my schedule. I'm still thinking about that. I'll obviously keep you guys in tune, update on that. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I just love seeing all the film and all the videos that we see on Twitter and online, and stuff like that. It's just great. It's just great. Football season's the best everybody's excited, and we all can't wait for it. Now, with the Penguins, what I want to talk about with the Penguins, here's the thing. So we know the Penguins lost Jared McCann. We know they lost Brandon Tanev to the expansion draft. The Penguins brought back Dominic Simone. Let me say that one more time. The Penguins brought back Dominic Simone. I could sit here all day and not say a word and end the podcast on that, but I don't want to end the podcast on a negative note. So we know the Penguins, they brought him back on a one-year deal. We know he's obviously has had experience here. I was never a fan of him at all. I always viewed him as that utility guy, that extra man off the bench if somebody's out or can't play. That's how I view him. I don't like him in the lineup every game. I don't like him on the first line. I just never was a fan of Dominic Simone at all. I don't know why they brought him back. Maybe to be an extra body who knows the system, maybe who's been there. I don't know. Now, they also sent qualifying offers to Zach Aston-Reese. I believe he has yet to sign. They extended Teddy Bluger. We know that a couple weeks ago. But the Penguins did make a couple moves. They brought in from the Anaheim Ducks. I want to make sure I got this guy's name right. Now, what was I going to say? Let me see. Penguins. I just can't remember the guy's first name real quick. Hold on. So he was on the Ducks. Now he's a forward. Danton Heinen. There you go. Danton Heinen. Now this guy has been on the Ducks, I believe, and I believe last year's. I believe he was a 50-point forward a couple years ago in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Last year, I think he had. Let's see here. So he's only 26. Came up in the league in 2016. Now, let me just kind of go over for all of you guys who might be unfamiliar with him. So, let's see here. Or is he a defenseman? No, I think he's a forward. Yeah, he's a left wing. That's what I thought. Because when I was looking at his stats, I'm like, no, he's not a defenseman. So, obviously, as you know, I'm not very familiar with him. His name sounded familiar when they brought him in. Now, what the depth chart's looking like, you got Jake Gensel, Crosby, Brian Rust, Kapanen, Malkin. You're looking at maybe Zucker, I guess, Carter. Maybe they would play Danton Heinen on that line. I don't know. But last year with Anaheim, he played 43 games, 14 points. He had 7-7. A plus-minus of -9. Nothing really that outstanding. Bottom line guy. I guess he's a big body, a physical guy as well. I don't know if it was him or the other. I think it was the other guy they brought in that was good on the PK. Now, he did have, with Boston, he did actually have a really good year. Really, technically, his first year. He had 47 points, 16 goals, 31 assists in 77 games. The year after that, he had 34 points, 11 goals, 23 assists. The year after that, he played in 58 games with Boston, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points. And then really with Anaheim, 2019-2020 seemed like it might have been maybe an injury-riddled season. He only played 9 games, and last year, obviously, he did that. But he's only 26. So if he's a guy that can kind of fill out one of those bottom lines and brings a physicality that we know Brandon Tanev had and, things of that nature, then, okay, great. And they also brought in McGinn. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He's also another forward, another wing guy. Let me pull him up real quick here for you guys because I don't have him on my computer set up right away. Brock McGinn. So they brought him in. He's only 27 as well. And they signed him to a 4-year deal. Now, I believe he came from the Hurricanes, if I'm not mistaken. So they signed him to let me get the contract. They signed him to an average of 2.75 million per season over 4 years. So he's a bottom six. He's a bottom six defensive winger. Okay. So again, I'm not familiar with Brock McGinn. I don't know how many people you are. I just wanted to pull his name up so I didn't mess it up for you guys. But Brock McGinn, this is the thing. So we're looking at really their top guys. All right, so they got Gensel, who's a 40-goal scorer. We know that. We know what Crosby does. Brian Rust, Malkin, Kapanen, I think will have an even bigger role with this team, especially as a goal scorer. Zucker, I liked Zucker when they brought him in. He had wasn't as good as he was, wasn't as good last year, but I still think Zucker, can still bring a lot of offense to this Penguins team. Now, Jeff Carter at 37 years old at the third center. Okay, it is what it is. So then, like I said, they bring in Simone. I don't really care for it, but now they bring in a guy like Brock McGinn, who, they definitely, especially with, like I said, Tanev gone and even McCann. McCann was really a do-all guy. McGinn, who's a bottom six kind of defensive player. Okay. So now you're going to pair him in there. You got Bluger in there as well. Aston Reese, I'm assuming, will be back. Okay, that's not bad there. Aston Reese, Bluger, if you're going to put McGinn in there, who's the defensive anchor kind of guy, okay, there you go. You can plug him in there. And then Carter, you can put in, I don't know if they'd want to plug Simone in. I don't know. I don't really know. And then obviously, the other guy I mentioned, whatever the hell his name was. Can't freaking remember his name. Already, I can't remember his name. It's how unfamiliar I am with these guys. Now, I've been saying, I'm not going to jump the gun yet on some of these Penguins moves because I do think Hextall and Burke, I do like them. I do like what they bring to the table. I do like what they did when they came in, and especially what they did closer to the trade deadline last year to help strengthen this team. Now, okay, it's great. All right, that's fine. You brought in two forwards that are kind of like that. Okay, sure. They're not bringing back Jankowski or things like that. So he's gone. They did bring back Evan Rodriguez. Okay, Evan Rodriguez. All right. So I think Evan Rodriguez as well isn't a guy that should be playing every single day. I don't. He's not bad for his role, but I think he's better than Simone. I think he's kind of in that Simone role though. But what the Penguins need to do, okay, if they could move Marcus Pettersson, move that contract, create some more space, that would be great. You can bring up Pierre-Olivier Joseph to plug him in there. But the main thing they need to do is goaltending. And, sure, the Penguins haven't had an offseason, that maybe a lot of us were kind of hoping they would have right now, or maybe as we're looking at some other teams. But, bringing in the two guys they did, okay, hopefully they can do what they were brought in for. I still could see the Penguins signing another wing guy, maybe to help, add some offense, especially if Malkin's going to be out a little to start the year. But I think goaltending's the biggest thing they need to look at. And I think that's more than anything. Now, there's been reports they are staying keen on that, which is good. Whether they make a trade for one or whether they free up some more money and sign for one, I don't know. But you need to go after somebody who, is reliable and can really be an anchor there for this team, especially because this isn't a time where you can rely on Jari, who's a walking question mark. You can't do that. You're at a point in time in this franchise where you need somebody who, you you can rely on, can shut it down, can win playoff games, things like that. That's what you need right now. And Marc-Andre Fleury was just traded to the Blackhawks this past week for nothing. I don't know if the Penguins were even ever in on him. I don't know if the Penguins are ever going to contact Chicago. But bringing back Marc-Andre Fleury, that would be great. Will they do it? Probably not. But they should look into it. Yeah, Marc-Andre Fleury's 36, 37 years old. He can still play great goaltending, right? So, pretty much, the moves with the Penguins, it's nothing drastic. It adds more defense, offensively. Okay, that's good. If these guys can play on the PK, okay, that's good because you're going to need that with Tanev and McCann gone, But I don't think the Penguins are done, though. I don't. I think if they can free up some more money, which I'm sure they will, I still see them going out and making a move. I really do. I think they will. I'm not going to sit here and crap over it. I think let's wait and see what happens once we start getting closer to September, especially as we get closer to October and what this team's looking like and shaping up them, and we can kind of, make our judgment there, what we're looking at with the team going forward, things like that. But nonetheless, I mean, it is what it is. It sucks Tanev's gone. It sucks McCann's gone. I still don't understand why they couldn't have protected McCann. I really don't. You really think Seattle was going to take a 37-year-old Jeff Carter? Okay. I don't understand why they just couldn't have protected Jared McCann, but it is what it is. So, Penguins, goaltending always should have been the number one thing in this offseason, and I hope that they really are doing their due diligence in regards of bringing another guy in. I don't want to see another guy who's going to be, who's going to split time with Jari. No, you need to bring in number one guy. If you're going to keep Jari, okay, fine, but in my opinion, I'd ship him off, get him out, you know what I mean? Bring in a veteran guy that can be a lockdown guy, at least for the next couple years, You can have DeSmith as the backup. There you go. That's what I would personally do. Let me know in the comments what you guys would do, what you guys are thinking so far about these Penguins moves. Who would you bring in as a goaltender? There's some guys out there. Pekka Rinne's out there. Holtby's out there, who I'm not really too crazy about. Would you bring back Marc-Andre Fleury? Would you make a move for one of these goalies out there? Let me know in the comments what you would do. They got to do something. Tanner Rask, you got to do something here. You got to do something. Because you're sitting at a point in time, man, where Crosby, Malkin, Letang area is coming closer and closer to an end. So you really have to really hop on this thing, man. And, you obviously want to fill out the best team you can around these guys. Which I never have a doubt in my mind that the Penguins aren't going to be good or aren't going to be a playoff team. I mean, they have been for, freaking 15 plus years now in a row. But the thing is, with where they're at now, they obviously majorly underachieved in the playoffs this year. They've been one and done the last 3 years in the playoffs. Something needs to change, and that change comes with goaltending, because that was the reason why they lost in the playoffs this year. And, maybe you make a move or two on defense, and maybe you add in an extra forward guy to help bring in some more offense. I don't know, especially with Malkin's injury. I don't know. But I still think I still think the Penguins are going to make at least another move or two. I do think they're going to make a move for a goalie. Now, who that goalie is, I don't know. But if it's me, that's the direction I would go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's going to wrap it up, though, guys. I told you it was going to be kind of a big show we were going to get into here on episode 23 here of In Heintz Sight. Tomorrow's going to be even a bigger show. I'm not quite sure how long this show has taken up, but tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow goes over an hour. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't like to necessarily go over an hour, but that's the thing. There's just a lot happening, folks. So there's going to be a lot we're going to be getting into. There's going to be a lot we're talking about tomorrow. Going to be a big show. But anyway, it's always appreciated, and I'm always thankful when you guys tune in and take the time to listen to this. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't either. I would greatly appreciate it, because it helps out the channel. It helps us reach more and more sports fans and have even bigger discussion here on In Heintz Sight on IHS. But yeah, there was just a lot to get into, man. It was that time of year, and I've been saying that the last couple weeks, man. Once we get closer to the trade deadline, once we get closer to preseason football, it's going to be go, 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 go. There's going to be a lot of things going on. I'm excited to cover it, and I want you guys here as well with me as I cover it, and we talk about it. You know what I mean? I want to do this with you guys along the way, so let's do it. But you guys are always awesome. I always appreciate it, and we'll be back here tomorrow, like I said, to talk about things. Now, next week, like I said, we're not going to have a show on Saturday. We will have a show. Here's the thing. We're not going to have a show Saturday because I'm going to be gone. And we're not going to have anything during the week. But when I come back, I'm thinking we'll either have a show Sunday and Monday, or we'll have a show Monday and Tuesday, and then maybe some extra content through the week. I'm not quite sure yet on that, but anyway, that's why I always mention follow my Facebook page at In Heintz Sight to keep up with the channel, even if you want to interact with me on anything. Twitter, Nate_Heintz. Instagram, Nathan_Heintz as well. And that's where I post things in regards to my channel if you guys want to keep up with that, but I will be posting there whenever I figure out what would be what would be the best days in regards of doing the podcast next week. So keep up with that. But we're going to be having, here soon, man, we're going to be having even more content, especially with, like I said, football rounding up, college football rounding up as well. NHL, once that, you know what I'm saying? MLB playoffs, NBA. I mean, it's all going to start coming rapidly, man. And there's going to be a lot of content that I'm going to be putting into and putting time and energy into as well. And I'm excited to get that out there for you guys as well once we really start get ramping with those things. But yeah, enjoy your Saturdays, guys. And we'll be back here Sunday for episode 24. I'm looking forward to talking with you guys. And thank you always for your support. So we'll see you then. All right, guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow.